Rick, let's talk about our new lead management service and exactly how that came about.
Yeah, right. I mean, so from a lead management perspective, we were working with VAs and training VAs for our own purposes, right? And we were also leveraging them with partners that we were working with on partner deals. And we kept getting feedback from the partners that basically said they wanted our lead management team to not only manage the leads for the partner things that we were working on, but they also wanted to leverage them for the leads that they were generating through their own channels, PPC, Facebook, cold calling, texting, however they were doing it. And it really took us a minute to figure it out, and it really dawned on us that, we could probably do this and do this better at scale, but, there were no splits or anything like that in there. So that's when the idea of actually doing some type of formal lead management service came up,
Mhm.
right? This is for investors by investors. So the team has been trained. I mean, we work with them literally on a daily basis. We are meeting with them every single day. Not only that, we're working with them once a week. We do an ISA call review where we are actually listening to their live calls and providing feedback in real time so they get better. And several of the team members have been with me for now over 2 years, right? And in that 2 years, they have just learned how to pull information out of these leads, price, timeline, and motivation, at least get two of those three
Mhm.
details to hand off to the acquisition team. And not only are they getting a lot of that information, but they know how to ask the question multiple ways. So they can actually get to the true reason, right? The true reason that they're moving or whatever it may be. They're also trained enough to ask, questions about creative. That's something that you and I both like to do. So it's
Mhm.
why not start asking that question early, getting details like the actual mortgage payment, the mortgage balance, and things like that. Even if the seller's not necessarily open to creative in the beginning, simply by asking that question on that first lead management call, it puts it in the back of their head. So by the time it gets to acquisition, we've actually seen them say no to the lead manager, but then do a creative deal with the acquisitions team. So it's diving into deep information and getting information that, most acquisition people, especially when they're new, aren't even getting on their first call. So
Absolutely.
taking and stepping into the lead management customer's environment and leveraging a pre-built CRM that has all of the automations that the team knows how to use to actually follow up with those leads that most people just kind of throw away because they call once, they don't get a hold of, they're not actually actively following up the way they should be. The lead
Mhm.
management team is not only doing the calls, but they're leveraging the technology to make sure that the follow-up is being done through a 10-day process, then a 15-month process. And so what we're seeing is where maybe one of our customers would get two good conversations with the acquisition team out of every 10 leads. We're actually seeing more like 5 or 6 acquisitions calls come because our team is relentless and continues to follow up with those leads to get that person on the phone and kind of provide that insight. So, it's a systems in process. It's highly trained, team members. Not only that, but the key here is, if I'm doing it on my own, I
Mhm.
have a 40-hour a week. I have basically a 9 to 5 team member that I have to train, or I have to train, I have to manage, I have to do all of that work. With the lead management service, I mean, we're covering over 74 hours a week, 9 to 9 Monday through Friday Eastern time, and then 9 to 6 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So you're getting 7 day a week coverage with a highly astute and highly trained team that it's really making a big difference for our lead management customers. And so far to date, it's been met with, raving fans, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that appeals to me about it is that follow-up piece because we all get busy and we can only wear so many hats. So whenever we are in our acquisitions role, the reality of the matter is you go out, you acquire more properties, you're generating more leads. The fact of the matter is leads fall through the cracks. It happens. Leads fall through the cracks. We stop communicating. We forget they even exist. We write them off because the conversation didn't go right. Having somebody else there to continue following up fits right along the lines with something Warren Buffett once said. If you can't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work till the day you die. This is one way where we can actually make money while we sleep. or at least make money while we're not necessarily doing the work ourselves.
That's right. I always think back to the beginning of trying to start up the business and generate leads. And it always seemed like leads were the hard things to generate. And then
Mm-hmm.
once you actually figure out how to generate the leads, you can literally turn that up and down like a water faucet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, most people say it's so hard to do, but at the end of the day, it's not. When you start talking about SEO, PPC, Facebook, cold calling, texting, all of the different channels, that is the easy part. The hard part is being a leaky bucket, being able to actually manage those leads and actually move them to the next step. And while you're a small business, most people don't want to talk to the tire kickers. They don't want to talk to somebody that's like, hey, you're just one of 5 people I'm getting offers from. They want somebody else to pre-qualify that and put it into the acquisition person's hand, because that's the most important role in a small business, is acquiring and getting deals and revenue for the business so you can grow. So when you start thinking about one of the first things that needs to be outsourced in
Mm-hmm.
any acquisition business, that is going to be that lead management, right? So that the owner or the acquisition team can focus on essentially the income producing activities for the business, and the team can actually tee that up for them and get the right sellers with the right information in front of them. So working on the business is one thing that the business owner does. Working in the business, especially in the beginning, is something that they do, but they really need to start building out those different roles and those different seats within the organization. And it's real easy to outsource lead generation. And
Mm-hmm.
it's also real easy to outsource lead management. And that is where, the IPA for Pros lead management offering comes in and really kind of hits it out of the park.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So far, nothing but raving reviews.